Alright, so this video will be about, how to realistically get up off the street. Like, let's say you're homeless and you have no money in your pocket, you're brand new to being on the street. This would be my suggestion on how to quickly get back to renting a room somewhere and getting your life back up under control. So, well, first off, thanks for the subs, thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments. Appreciate every single one of yous. Thanks for the tips. Appreciate every single one of yous. And thanks for the Patreon support. I appreciate every single one of yous. So, this is a response to the Homeless to Millionaire video. Like I said, I don't have nothing against them guys. I don't think they're evil, or I think their video is very misleading. I think he let his ego get in the way of making a realistic video. I think he was just dead set on showing some sort of success story, so they bullshitted their way through it when really it was not a success. He kind of failed at being homeless. So, and the only reason he failed at being homeless was because he had the option of not being homeless, So, I'm not saying that, anyone who's homeless is going to be trapped out there forever. I don't believe that at all. I believe you can get yourself up off the street. It's not going to be easy, but I believe anyone can do it, including, I don't care, you could be the physically weakest person on earth. None of that matters. There's things you can do anyway. So, all right, so now here's the scenario. Let's say that realistically, if I lost everything right now, I'd be doing portraits. That's what I do. I know how to sell art on the street. I can make a lot of money doing it, but it's only because I have years of experience doing it. I got that shit figured out. So if you're an artist, I'm gonna make another video sometime in the near future where I'll explain how to sell your art on the street, because there are some tricks to it, and if you do it right, the sky's the limit. So, but this video is going to be for anyone who has no artistic talent, no musical talent, just, a person who is used to just working regular jobs. How do they get up off the street? So, in this scenario, let's say I'm out on the street. I have not $1 to my name. There's a butterfly. And I'm out on the street in New York City. I'm talking about New York City because that's the city I know. Now, every other main city, it can't be that different than New York, but I don't know. You know your city, so. But New York City is my city. Now, in Florida, yeah, I would do pretty much the same things. I would head out to either St. Pete or Tampa, you know what I mean? And I'd have to just figure it out. It can't be that different than New York. But so anyway, now here's the scenario. I'm out homeless on the street and I don't have $1 to my name. What would I do? The first thing I would do is try to get my hands on a Sharpie, a marker. So my first priority is to get a Sharpie. Now, either in New York, Dwayne Reed is like the Walgreens. Well, there's a Walgreens in New York too. But so I would go outside of a Dwayne Reed or a Walgreens and I would just ask people for money. You're going to get rejected 9 times out of 10, but sooner or later somebody's going to give you $1 or $2. Or I would just go in there and steal a marker, steal a Sharpie. Realistically, that's probably what I would do. It's just quicker, and instead of standing out there for God knows how long asking for money, I would just go in and steal a marker probably. Although nowadays, it's probably a lot harder to steal from these places because people have been raiding them like crazy. So I don't know, maybe you're better off just standing outside there. And I don't condone stealing, especially stealing from other people. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing respectful about it. That's rat behavior in my opinion. But desperate times call for desperate measures. I've stolen food before. But that's pretty much the only thing I've really stolen. Other than when I was a kid, I'd steal cigarettes and shit, But, so yeah, I'm not condoning stealing. I don't think you should unless it's an absolute emergency. I do think it's kind of a skill that you know, it deserves a little respect, because it does. It takes some nerve and it takes some skill. In my opinion, the coolest thieves are those cat burglars who steal high-end art. That shit's cool, if you ask me. That's ninja shit. But anyways, so I'd probably just go snatch up a Sharpie. And then whatever, if you want to really keep your conscience clear, go back in there after you make a couple bucks and throw them a couple bucks and be like, here, I owe you guys $3. I just throw it in the register. I owe you money. Trust me on that. And, have a good day. So, because believe it or not, in my opinion, a clear conscience, man, my hair looks really nice right now. A clear conscience, like, look at it. It's almost like bronze color. But a clear conscience is a very important thing. That's why I sleep like a baby every night. That's why I age slowly. My conscience is clear, bro. And that's a very important thing for me. A lot of people don't even realize that their main issue is their conscience is bothering them, But we live in such a messed up time, dude. I could go on for hours on that subject. But so, try to keep your conscience clear, bro. You know what I mean? So now, ways to make money on the street. There's a million ways to make money on the street. It's just that my suggestion is you should keep it legal, because here's the thing. Yeah, you can sell drugs or whatever. The only drugs you're really gonna make a profit on are the hard drugs, So, and you're gonna have to make a connection, obviously, or unless you already got one. But the thing is, here's the thing. The people I knew in New York who sold heroin, they did so much heroin that they weren't even really making money. They were still kind of broke. And it's like they had this monster heroin habit that would cost literally hundreds of dollars every single day. And in my opinion, they'd be better off just doing heroin than selling it and doing it. Because, yeah, they have access to a lot of heroin and they can do as much as they want. But the thing is, they're building up these monster habits that someone who is just doing heroin can't even afford to build a habit like that, So that was my thing. My poverty back then was a blessing, because it forced me to never build up a big heroin habit. I had to always get back off of heroin because I couldn't afford to do more than a few bags a day. So that was a blessing back then. But yeah, the thing is, yeah, you can make money selling hard drugs and shit, but you're gonna have to be you're gonna have to be a literal gangster, because the people who do that are gangsters, and they're not just gonna let you swoop in and start stealing their customers, So it's gonna lead to major conflict, which, I mean, unless you really want to be living that life where you're gonna have to be willing to carry weapons and use them. Like, is that what you want to do with your life? Is that the impact you want to have in the world? You're going to be dealing with ice cold, ruthless people, and in order to deal with people like that, you're going to have to become one of them, So me personally, that's not how I want to live my life, But some people, in this society, we grow up hearing how cool it is, and they make it seem like it's a cool thing to do. Ask anybody who's in it, ain't nothing cool about it. A lot of these dudes, they don't even want to live, bro. Anyways, so my suggestion is keep it legal. Of course you could sell your body or whatever, but my suggestion is don't do that. Even if you are gay or whatever, because it's like, it's just, I don't want to talk shit about people or whatever, but you're doing something that's kind of low, it's going to take your pride, it's going to take your self-respect. If you're willing to sell those things for a couple $100, go ahead. I guarantee you're going to regret it. But so, because I'll put it to you this way. The fact that I never did none of that shit, but I was getting offers now, I can think back with pride and say, yeah, I stayed myself, bro. I had all these temptations and all this shit, but I maintained, you know what I mean? So that gives me pride. It keeps my conscience clear. So that's worth way more than the few $100s I was being offered, you know what I mean? And it's not like I have anything against these people that were making these. I don't care, you know, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, you know what I mean? But I'm just glad I didn't do none of that. I'll just leave it at that, you know? So yeah, there's a lot of ways to make money on the street, but there's only certain ones that I'm willing to do, because I'm not willing to sell my soul, I'm not willing to sell my pride, and I'm not willing to sell my self-respect. So the main ways that I would do it, well, like I said, realistically, I would sell my art. But in order to make money selling your art, you kind of got to know what you're doing. So I'll explain that in another video. This is just if you're out on the street. Damn, it's already been 10 minutes. If you're out on the street and you ain't got no money, so yeah, get a marker, get a piece of cardboard out of the trash. There's cardboard everywhere in the cities. Make a sign. Now, at this point, you're brand new on the street. You're only trying to make enough money to cover food and your basic needs, cigarettes, drinks, just your basic needs, to have just a little bit of comfort and a little bit of, you know, pleasure out of life, so you can get to your spot at night with your food or whatever. Maybe you want to buy a dime of weed just to chill at night, whatever. So at this point, you're just trying to get a couple bucks in your pocket. So get a piece of cardboard, get a Sharpie, make a sign. Now, there's two ways to panhandle that are effective that I've seen. And like I said, I've never really done it. But so now, if I was going to panhandle right now, if that's what I had to do, if I had nothing else, I would make a sign that said, $1, one joke, money back if you don't laugh. And I'd stand, I would try to find kind of a touristy spot, because that's a little better than panhandling. You're actually performing a service. And I've done this in the past. I was just trying to grow my balls and make money, and I'm good at writing jokes. So I've done this, and I've made hundreds, thousands of dollars doing it, to be honest. But so that's what I would do. But let's say I didn't want to do the joke thing, I just wanted to rack up some dough real quick. I'd make a sign that said either need money for weed or need money for a drink. Those are just funny signs. You go to the touristy areas and you're probably going to do all right. The only issue with that is, in a place like Times Square in New York, there's going to be other people doing that, and they're not going to take too kindly to you showing up in their territory. So they might start a fight with you or whatever, but they can't control the entire Times Square, so you can just move up a couple blocks or whatever. But for the real high traffic, popular spots in Times Square, there's going to be a little competition. Maybe you don't mind making enemies, maybe you like to fight. You know what I mean? So, but me personally, if my goal is just to make money, I'm going to keep my distance from the rest of them, and I'm just going to try to make my money. Now, another thing you could do with the panhandling is just look for charity. Like, homeless, need help, please help, something, whatever. Just write whatever. If it's not working, change the sign, you know? There's cardboard everywhere. But for just straight panhandling, Times Square is not the spot. The touristy spots are not the spots. If you're going to just straight panhandling, looking for charity, you're going to want to avoid where the street performers are at. Like, with the funny panhandling signs, you can kind of get away with being around the street performers. But if you're just straight panhandling for charity, you're not going to be wanting to be around the tourists, like the street performers. You're going to be wanting to be around maybe Penn Station, Grand Central Station, or maybe some of the train stations on the Upper West Side, or outside of certain restaurants. You don't want to go to too high-end a restaurant, because they're just going to ask you to leave and they're going to make an issue out of it. But there's spots everywhere. You just want to use your head, where people are spending money, where they're going to have change, where they're going to be breaking bigger bills and having smaller bills to give out. Use your head, you know what I mean? Find a good spot. When I lived in the Bronx, I'd see people panhandling, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you panhandling in the Bronx, bro? You're lucky. Like, first of all, you're not going to make no money. Second of all, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody just snatches your cup right out from in front of you. I've seen that happen in Manhattan. Could you imagine being such a bum that you're stealing from the people who are begging? You'd be amazed, man. Some people got no shame, bro. But so, the people in the Bronx, I'd be like, how the hell are they going to make money? But to be honest, sometimes I'd throw them a buck or two because, oh man, I hate these flies, bro. You gotta die, bud. Sorry. Oh, he didn't die. All right, good. Hopefully he learned his lesson. It's these deer flies that sting, they bite and they suck your blood, and they're so slow and stupid because they're used to biting deer that they're pretty easy to kill. But so, where was I? Oh yeah, so if I made a lot of money doing portraits or jokes in New York, I'd be in a good mood. I'd be throwing some money to the panhandlers and shit, just in the Bronx, because I'm like, they ain't gonna make shit anyway. Let me give him a buck or two. Hopefully he'll get his head out of his ass and get up on the train and go to Manhattan and make some money. But so, yeah, panhandle up your money, get whatever, a couple $100 in your pocket. Obviously, you don't want to advertise to the other homeless people that you've got a couple of $100 in your pocket. Me personally, I didn't really have to worry about that because New York is my city. I know a lot of people. Ain't nobody fucking with me. If they are fucking with me, then it's gonna be a fight. Like, I'm not taking no shit. That's my city, bro. That's where I'm from, and I don't, I'm just not having it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't too concerned with people trying to steal money. The other thing is, I have such contempt for people like that it's like, give me an excuse, bro. I'll knock your fucking teeth out your mouth. But like, I don't want to be like that. But it's like, I just have a bit of rage inside me towards people who try to steal from like people on the street. I see them as people that they deserve a little punishment or whatever, but vengeance is God's, bro. You know what I mean? So it's not up to you to be a vigilante out there fighting crime and shit. But so yeah, I wasn't too concerned with people stealing from me and shit. The only time anyone would ever steal from me is if I was dead asleep. And that was one of my issues. I got so comfortable living on the street that I'd be sleeping on the sidewalk like a baby, bro. And so I had to come up with security measures to keep my shit from getting stolen, because I'd be sleeping so deep that motherfucker could probably, steal anything. But once I lost my favorite hoodie, I learned to tighten up security. So, and then after that, people would try to steal from me, but it would wake me up because I had security measures in place. And let me tell you something. When you have this rage inside you and you're ready to just, it ain't even gonna be a fight. It's gonna be me grabbing a hold of you and ripping you to pieces. Like, your eyes convey that. And it's like, there'd be people like twice my size that woke me up trying to steal from me. As soon as they seen my eyes, they'd be like, I'm out, bro, because this guy's about to jump up and rip me to pieces, straight up. Like, I'm not a big dude, but let me tell you something. A leopard is not a big cat. It's 80 pounds. It'll rip you to pieces, bro. And I'm bigger and stronger. Like, I don't know about stronger, but I'm bigger than a leopard. And that's what I used to think in my head. Like, yeah, I ain't big, but I'm as dangerous as a motherfucking tiger out here, bro. Like, straight up. I got that ferocity in me, man. But anyways, so, I wasn't too concerned with it. And people knew that I had money, but people left me alone because people knew me for the most part. But if you're new out there, you don't want to be advertising that I got $600 in my pocket or whatever. You just don't want people to know. So maybe you should get a bank account or whatever, because you don't want to bring that kind of trouble around you. So, and there's people out there who, most people in New York City are cool. I'm talking about Manhattan. So, but some of them aren't, Some of them are nasty. Some of them won't hesitate to kill you for $5. I'm not even kidding you. There's some desperate, crazy people out there. But yeah, so panhandler, get your money up. Then my suggestion is buy a bike off of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, whatever, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Any bike, as long as it runs, as long as it works. And do Uber Eats. Now you're going to need an address, either Uber Eats or DoorDash, and you're going to have to be in a city that's busy enough to where you can do it from a bicycle. Now you're going to need an address because they're going to send you that bag that keeps the food hot. So if you're out on the street, you're going to be meeting people. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to make friends. I guarantee it. I made a lot of friends out on the street in New York. And so there was plenty of people I could use their address. So you're going to have to find someone who's going to let you use their address and get the food bag sent to their house. And then do Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever. And I knew people in New York City on a bike doing Uber Eats or DoorDash making $1,000 a week. Literally, they would show it to me on their phone because I didn't believe them. This dude was like, yeah, I just made like $1,500 this week. I was like, show me. I don't believe you. And he showed me on his phone. He was doing DoorDash and making that much money. And it really was. I looked at his statement. So yeah, he wasn't lying. So once you're making $1,000 a week, you can just go rent a room somewhere. Another thing you can do is sell water. But the problem with selling water is there's a lot of people selling water in New York City, and they are kind of quick to get in fights with each other over it because, they feel threatened by other people doing it. And I've almost gotten into plenty of fights with them too, because the truth is, I don't want them around me. But I knew a lot of these people for years, but even still, I almost got in a fight with a couple of them. But I kind of regret being like that. It was just, I was filled with anger back then, and I felt like this fucking idiot is gonna cost me $100 today because he's a fucking idiot. And when I got that in my head, I'm getting angry, But what I realized after a while was that they weren't the problem. The problem was my anger was the problem. Because once I started getting a little more level-headed about it and being like, yo, do me a favor, just don't go right on top of me. Give me 10 yards, bro, on either side of me. Let me do my thing. Let's be peaceful. You go over there and do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing right here. I'm not gonna get angry. You're not gonna get angry. Everything's gonna be peaceful. We're gonna make money. We're not gonna fight, So, because that's it. You're out there to make money. You're not out there to fucking defend territory and fight people off. So be polite, be reasonable. Just be like, yo, give me a little space, bro. You know what I mean? But if you're selling water, I don't even know why these water people all set up on top of each other. I'd be sitting there like, and getting into fights over it, dumping each other's coolers, punching each other in the face, calling in reinforcements. We used to call it water wars in Central Park, because me and the other artists and musicians, we're all like, we're all kind of friends. And to be totally honest, we did not like having the water people around. So we'd be seeing these fucking idiots wreaking havoc and causing this scene and really costing us all money, because once they all get to scrapping and fighting and shit, ain't nobody stopping for a portrait, ain't nobody stopping to listen to the music. Everything stops for a minute, and they've got to settle their little beef or whatever, and then we can all start making money again. So we used to get annoyed with them. We didn't want them around, but what are you gonna do? Here's the reality of it. You can chase out 10 of them. 5 new ones are going to show up within a couple of days. So it's like, do you want to spend all your time fighting with these fucking idiots, or do you want to just go make money? So my advice is, if you're going to sell water, don't set up right on top of the other people selling water, because y'all just going to be on top of each other and ruining each other's time, and you're both going to make less money, and it's all just really stupid, and it never made sense to me. But so, yeah, selling water, you can make a couple $100 a day easy. You're buying the case for a couple of bucks. You're selling the bottles for, I'd say sell them for $2 a piece, maybe even $3. I don't know what the prices are now. So But there's plenty of, but the other thing is the cops are, they might fuck with you, they might not, it depends. The park rangers are 99% of the time are gonna fuck with you. That's like all they have to do. So, you know, you got to be careful with seeing them. If you see them, close your cooler and just sit on it and act like you're taking a break or whatever, you know what I mean? You don't want to be selling water in front of them, because they'll give you tickets and all kinds of shit. So that's my advice. Panhandle up some money, get enough money to either get a bike or to get a cooler and ice, and either do Uber Eats or DoorDash or sell water, because once you're doing that, you're going to consistently make a couple of $100 every day, and then you can rent a room somewhere. Now, the way New York is, you can find rent for less than $1,000 a month, but you know, the further, I'll put it to you this way, the further you go from Manhattan, the cheaper the rent's going to get. So in the outer parts of Queens and the Bronx, you know, the rent's going to be a lot cheaper, but you're going to pay in other ways. There's going to be all kinds of you know, you unless you're kind of known in your neighborhood in these places, you really don't want to be walking around there at night with money in your pocket, because if people don't know you, they're, you know, you don't know. But you just, you're gonna have to rent a place in probably a shittier part of the city. But once you're known around there and people get to know you, you ain't gonna have no issues. So, I mean, for the most part, the gangs and shit, they don't care about people that aren't in gangs. They're not gonna, you know, their purpose is not to just kill and pick on everyone. But the thing is, when you're in a place like the Bronx, you can very easily get sucked into some dumb shit, because there's people in the Bronx who's gonna be like, oh, what are you looking at? Oh, fuck you. Next thing you know, guns are getting pulled, people are getting shot. And I'm not saying they're gonna be shooting you to kill you, but they'll shoot you in your leg, they'll shoot you in your foot if they feel disrespected. It's, people are like that, you know? So, my advice is, once you can rent a room somewhere, then do your best to start making more money, get some type of job somewhere or whatever, and get your ass to a nicer part of the city, you know? But so yeah, that's how you can do it realistically. And, you know, panhandle up some money, enough money to either get a bike or a cooler, and then start doing Uber Eats on the bike, or DoorDash on the bike, or selling the water in any of the touristy spots in New York, where, you know, where people are gonna, in the summer, you know, obviously the water's not gonna work in the winter. It's not gonna work at all. So, you know, the DoorDash and Uber Eats will work in the winter, but it's gonna be cold. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do to get up off the street. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Then, once you're up off the street and you got a couple bucks saved up, then watch Homeless to Millionaire video, and maybe you can do what he did, because maybe his methods do work. It's just that they're not going to work up off the street, you know what I mean? His methods might work if you have money and a place to stay. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that shit. I don't know about selling coffee subscriptions to dog lovers. Maybe it's a great way to make money. I don't know. You'd have to try it. It's not my thing, you know? I know how to build up off the street off of nothing. I don't know how to, you know, become a consultant and charging people $2,000 a month to be their consultant, or to sell coffee subscriptions to dog lovers. I don't know about none of that shit. So I don't know if it works or not. I do know that it's not going to work for a homeless guy. So, you know, that's how you get up off the street, realistically. Now, if anyone else has any suggestions on how to do it, maybe you've done it yourself, tell me in the comments. I'm all ears. I'm curious. But, you know, maybe there's ways I haven't thought of. If I was homeless right now, if, let's say, my car broke down and I had nothing, this actually happened to me a couple months ago. I drove my car down to downtown Clearwater, and I was doing portraits on Pier 60 at Clearwater Beach. So that's what I did, and I would have built myself back up again. But as it turned out, God was with me. My YouTube started taking off. So you never fucking know. That's the other thing. Don't ever lose hope, because you don't know what's gonna happen. And here's the main danger of being homeless. This is the main threat. This is the main thing you got to watch out for. The main threat on the street is, this is what happens. People end up homeless. It's a very stressful and scary thing. And what happens is they just want to escape reality. So they start drinking, or they start doing heroin, or they start doing other hard drugs and shit. And all they care about at that point, they don't even care about getting off the street anymore. They care about escaping reality every day. So that's the real danger of being on the street. Keep your wits about you. Remember, keep your goals in sight. Do not lose hope. And do not get caught up in just getting wasted every day with all the other people who have lost hope, because that's the real danger. And it even happened to me. I was addicted to heroin. Once I was addicted to heroin, my only priority was not getting up off the street anymore. It wasn't being an artist or anything else. My only priority was getting heroin every day. So, you know, don't get caught up in that. You know what I mean? Keep your wits about you. Stay strong. Be brave. And whatever, look, you know, don't be afraid. I've got videos about how to handle confrontations in the street. Don't be scared. Whatever, if you get your ass whooped, you get your ass whooped. You know, just don't let people just run over you, you know? Like, just be yourself, be cool. Don't be afraid. God is with you. And, you know, keep your goals in sight and don't lose hope. And you're gonna be all right, I promise you. Watch my other videos on how to handle being homeless and shit. And this is the video. I've got another video on all the ways people make money on the street. You can take some of those suggestions if you want. But so, I guess that's that, you know what I mean? So let me watch this video and make sure it makes sense. This is actually the second one I filmed. I like the other version too, but I don't know. I just figured I'll film it twice and see which one I like better. So we'll see which one ends up going up. So, you know, thanks again for the subs, likes, comments. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for the Patreon support. Appreciate every single one of you. My next video might be another reaction, because there's some shit going on that's current right now that I have a lot to say about, but there's a ton of other videos I want to make. We'll see, dude. But yeah, I've got some interesting videos coming up. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, thanks everyone, and I will see y'all on the next one.